Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm going to do my first impressions on the Holt Bladeworks Specter. So, I got this in as a loaner from my buddy Knives on the Secondary. Check him out on Instagram, I'll link it below. It's Knives on the Secondary. He helps people sell their knives. I don't believe he charges anything, so if you have a knife you're trying to sell, usually more premium stuff, but just reach out to him, see if he can help you. I know sometimes if you have a smaller Instagram or whatever, it can be kind of hard to sell knives. It's not that hard for me these days because I can post a video or something on Instagram. I usually sell stuff pretty quick. I do usually price stuff to sell, though. I don't usually ask for like full retail or anything, so that helps. But anyway, he sent this my way. I really have been wanting to check out a Specter ever since I got the haptic. And that's because I really originally thought the Specter was the cooler design. That's the one I originally wanted. I keep doing that. I don't know how that's happening. It's like I'm breaking the... Like maybe I'm pinching. Yeah. So if you pinch that at all, it shuts right away. And I keep doing that. Keep putting my finger in like as I'm sliding it over. And then it just closes. That's not good. Obviously you get used to that. But if you're using this, I guess it's not a heavy user, but if you're using this and accidentally squeeze, look at that. That's kind of a flaw to me. Pretty big one, actually. I've never even noticed something like that on my haptics. I don't know if the lockup is like super early. No, it doesn't look like it. It's just so easy to move this lock bar, and with your fat fingers in there, you can easily do that. Now, if you're right-handed, I guess you're not going to have that problem, right? Unless you do this. Somehow get in there and accidentally... I don't know how you would do that right-handed on accident. Yeah, you'd have to use a fingertip, which kind of doesn't happen. So anyway, lefty issue. Anyway, sorry. So I got the haptic, and I really want to check out a Specter just because this is the original Holt knife, right? It was so popular for so long. It's hard to find on the Secondary. A little bit of detent lash too, actually. This is a user, so he did tell me this was a user. So, take that with a grain of salt. He told me this was about $1,400 on the Secondary, I believe. I don't know if he wanted me to say that, but, that's what these go for, man. They were going for like $2,000 at one point, right? Now, you could tell he uses this knife because look at the blade, right? There's scratches all over it, and that's cool. I really like that when somebody actually has an expensive knife like this and will use it. And that's how I feel about all my knives. I use them. Keep feeling like that blade is just going to come down. It feels weird. But you could see similarities to the haptic, right? I'm planning on doing a comparison once my haptic comes back. Chris has it right now from Grady's Gear, so we'll see if I still have this by then. But I will say the size is more my style. The haptic is kind of small. It's kind of like the size of a Malibu, right? Whereas this guy is a bigger knife. I think it's like 3.3, let me see, or 3.5 inches on the blade. What do I have to compare it to here that I know the length of? My Evo 2.0 is 3.5 inches. So there you go. It's actually about the same exact size as an Evo 2.0. The Chavez 229 is 3.6 inches on the blade. So pivot to pivot, you see there, it's just a tit longer in the blade, not in the handle though, which is kind of cool. So there's a good size comparison for you. Just stupid action on this table right now. How about some normal knives people probably have more experience with? There's your bug out. So like I was saying, the haptic is kind of like this size. bug out size, maybe a touch smaller. Whereas the Specter is a larger knife. Here's the Paramilitary 3. That's our decked out one. With the burlap micarta scales and black hardware, K390. It's a bit bigger than that as well. So your haptic's going to be more in this range with these two knives. Are we getting a patina on here? I don't know. I almost never carry this, so it's just getting a natural patina in the case. I never carry the bug out anymore. I feel bad about it. I almost sold it one time recently because I was just grabbing stuff to sell. Like, what don't I carry? And this was one of them, but like, I don't know. It just feels like it has to stay with me. Sorry. Getting off here. Getting off here. So, yeah, that's a look at the size. Obviously, take a look at the milling on here. It's absolutely just stunning. I do kind of like how they did it on this. On the haptic, they do a pattern throughout the whole scale. And my haptic is very much like this. It's in the nude, right? It's just all plain titanium like this. Backspacer looks very similar. Clip looks a little bit different to me than on the haptic. Again, I'll try to do a comparison if I can, but just in case I don't, I wanted to just go over this. Very tight tolerances through here. Centering, of course, is dead nuts. It's actually slightly off to the clip side. If you look at that, you can see there, slightly off. Now, there's no blade play or anything, so yeah, that's kind of what your centering is, I guess. You can see the tip is off to this side, clip side, but if you look down the center here, there's more of a gap on this side. So that lock bar, I guess, is pushing the blade over a little bit. I don't know. That whole thing with centering and pivots and lock bars is kind of a conundrum to me. But yeah, just really good finishing work. I love how they finish right here. You don't have any kind of things sticking out or anything that'll get you. And then here is your flipper tab. Very, very similar to the haptic, just kind of a flat with a little rounded thingamabob right here, and then jimping on top. Now, the detent on this guy is spot on. This is how I wish my haptic was. If it was, I probably would be more considering keeping it more, because I'm planning on selling it at this point, the haptic. And part of that is the detent. It just is slightly too strong. And yeah, before you guys start yelling at your screen, they have an adjustable detent system. But I did a video on it, and I had to delete it because I tried to adjust the detent, and it does nothing. There's a little screw. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little screw in there. And they give you this tiny little Allen key, and you take this scale off, and then you can adjust that. Well, you have to obviously adjust it and then put the knife back together every time. I took the knife apart at least 15 times, adjusting it, and I tried everything from, it's basically a screw like this big that's in that liner. So like there's a screw going through this liner lock, and you tighten the screw by turning it clockwise like a screw, and the tighter you make it, it pushes that screw down so it comes out of the bottom of the liner, right? And then that's supposed to, I guess, give it more pressure somehow, and it strengthen the detent. And then to lighten it, you turn it counterclockwise, and that screw starts threading out, right? And if you thread it too far either way, you lock the knife up, because the blade will get caught on that screw head, on that little screw thing, detent screw coming out. So it has to be between a certain variable. And I tried everything from all the way down to all the way up, and I literally took the screw out at one point. Like, just took the detent screw out. And no matter what I did, the detent was always the same, which was just too strong. Like, I used to say it was on the cusp of being too strong, but after playing with it for so long, it just is a touch too strong to where, like, I don't want to sit there and do this all night with it, you know? I can do it for a little while, but then I'm like, it's kind of just too strong, right? This is perfect. I can take it right to the break point, and it just flies out. Like, you're not going to fail it, but it's not hard. I can easily push button it. Well, that time I pinched it to fail it, but you can easily push button it, where on the haptic I have, when I do that, it hurts your fingertip a good bit because you're really putting a lot of pressure on there to get it to fly. And this thing just shoots out. It's perfect. This detent is absolutely spot on. Now, like I said, there's a little bit of detent lash, so you can see the blade moving in there. I think you can anyway. See that? That's called detent lash. There's a little bit of wiggle where the detent ball or nub or whatever it is in here, I think they use a pyramid or something, is inside the cutout in the blade, locking it in, right? And there's a little bit of wiggle room in that hole, and that's what causes detent lash. And that can be something that I guess is created over time, maybe, because it's been flicked so many times, that ball's going in and out of there so many times, it kind of just chews out a little bit, and then it wears a little bit, and then it creates a little bit of room. I don't know. I'm making shit up. But anyway, the action is stupid. The detent is money. It's just like my haptic, where it just, you know, it's tuned to just flop right down. You could do this all day and enjoy it. It's a little bit better, I'd say, because you have a little more blade there. You have a little heavier of a blade that swings down. It's a little more satisfying. It's just fun to try to get your finger in and out, you know, in time. Yeah, and you could play with this all day. I have been. Last night I played with it the whole night. It's fantastic. So she said, ergos. Yeah, now this is fantastic. The haptic is just big enough for my hand, like almost going to be too small. I got a little bit of Specter sticking out here. Just feels really good. You got that extra blade length. I am a drop point guy over a Warney, but I will say, between the haptic and the Specter, I love the size of the Specter, but I think I like the design and the shape of the haptic a little more. This is an ugly drop point. Like, I don't know. It just looks ugly to me. Doesn't it just look like a dingus or something? I don't know. It's just kind of not good looking, the whole knife. You know, I've heard a lot of times that the Holt Bladeworks Specter is the epitome of a production knife, right? I've also heard that about the Gareth Bolt Shamwari, which this is the Shamwari. It's made by We. It's a production version, so okay. I guess what I'm saying is I've heard different things about what's the best everyday carry knife you can get, like the best folder, right? Custom, production, whatever. And a lot of people will tell you it's one of these two. And, you know, there's some others out there that I don't want to really go crazy right now talking about what's the best, you know, folding knife ever. I know a lot of you guys would probably say it's this guy right here. Sorry, I'm just messing with you. I'm blanking right now, right? There's a ton of stuff out there that people would talk about as being the best. But these are two of the ones I hear all the time. Maybe the Sabenza people would say, which is bullshit. Trevor Barger is one that people are really excited about these days. I have one on the way. Haven't handled it enough to know that. But this right here, just such a clean design. The rounding here, this drop point is absolutely gorgeous. Now, this one has a hollow. I don't know if that's how the customs are, but regardless, it's fantastic. Rounded or crown spine, which is just something I love in a knife, especially if it's not coming from Italy, which you don't see very often. So it's kind of a treat to get it when it's not coming from Italy, because the rest of the knife will suck. I mean, just absolutely a stunning piece. It's gorgeous closed. Whoops. Okay, Kev, come on. I'm left-handed, so it's gorgeous open. It has that beautiful titanium over travel there. It's just such a clean design, right? But then you compare it to this, and I don't know. This thing just looks weird. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. Sorry, I got cut off there. So, yeah, it's not like the design is bad. It's just not appealing to me, really. Now, the rest of the knife is so fantastic in terms of ergonomics, the feel, fit and finish, the action, the detent, all of that, that I would get one, you know, in a heartbeat if I had the opportunity and the means. I'm not really in the place right now to be dropping $1,500 on a knife, because that's what these are going for right now. The haptic was enough, you know. I traded, I think, 3 or 4 knives for that, like good knives, Veros and Sharp by Design knives all together to get a haptic. So 3 of them actually. So like, I don't know, like I just don't see myself dropping $1,500 for one of these, even though I'd love it, right? I think it's a fantastic knife. It's, again, another reason the haptic is probably going to be sold is it's flipper only, and it's just, I don't know, it just gets old. You can sit there and do this all you want, and amazing drop shot action, yes. I mean, the epitome of drop shot action is what Holt Bladeworks does, and detents, except for my haptic. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it to not have multiple deployment methods. Like, excuse me, I'd rather carry this, the EMP EDC Nimble. I can reverse flick it, I can flip it, flip it, I can front flip it, I can thumb flick it out, I can thumb roll it out. You know, it's just infinitely more fidgety, and it's just kind of fun to do that. And on top of that, action is really good. I mean, it's not like that, of course. You know, this is a $270 knife, not a $1,500 one. But I have more fun with this knife than I do with that. So, you know, like, it just is a matter of taste for people. If you love flippers and fantastic action, and you have the money to drop on something like this, you should definitely pick one up. I can wholeheartedly recommend the knife, you know. I don't know what I'm doing here. This isn't really like a full review at this point. I've had it for a day, but I've had the haptic for so long that, like, I feel like I'm just looking at a different shaped, sized haptic. It's basically the same, right? Now, I am gonna say right off the bat, this thing is an issue for a lefty. Like, I have disengaged this thing so many times at this point on accident, because of that liner lock being the way it is. Like, just squeezing, you see that? I am literally just squeezing to tighten my grip, and I'm popping that liner lock. That's an issue. I don't know why my haptic never had that happen. I'll see when I get it back if it's like that. I wonder if they changed some kind of angle. Maybe this isn't as proud. I don't know, but that's kind of weird. So those are kind of my ridiculously not organized thoughts on the Holt Bladeworks Specter. I am so grateful to Brad for sending me this knife to check out. It just means a lot when somebody in the community is willing to send you a knife, let alone a $1,400 knife. And it was literally like, yeah, dude, you want to check it out? Yeah, I'm going to send it right away. Okay, here's tracking. Like, damn, dude, thank you. It means a lot. You guys trust me with your stuff. I know I know you don't all want me to take your stuff apart. I get that. But just letting me handle it and check it out, it really means the world to me. I love you guys very much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.